All right, welcome back, guys. We'll keep the sandpaper ball rolling down here in Australia, and to head it off, we've got one of our own MMRs, an Australian AP chair. Gerry Hopkins is back with some more layout tours. So if you'd like to give us a bit of a description of what we're going to see here, Gerry, that'd be great.
Yep, well, I've got a bunch of layouts from around Australia. We got standard gauge, narrow gauge, dual gauge, and a bit of O-scale, nice and noisy and all big chunky brass stuff. So there's a variety of stuff there this time that you haven't seen before.
Perfect, sounds great. So let's cue the roll, Martin.
there's plugins for this.
So I take the kids.
You've got to get down on hands and knees and go in. But
Yeah, no, that's. Okay, looks like we've come to the end there, so we'll bring Gerry and Brad back into the room. And I think Brad's got a public service announcement to make first.
Yeah, thanks, Martin. Look, I'm sure all you guys out there in Facebook will have seen the feed. There's been a few trolls and spammers in there. I'd just like to remind you that you're definitely in the prime seat of the house to catch all the entertainment. So definitely don't click on their link. Hang in here tight and just ignore them. And we'll keep it all rolling. So thanks, Gerry, for another great group of layouts. I'll kick off some questions. And if you can just tell us a little bit about each of the layouts, their owners, and sort of their locations here in Australia for some of the guys over in the States that probably don't even get their chance to get down here.
Well, the first layout was Ken Scales' layout. That's on the central coast of New South Wales, halfway between Sydney and Newcastle. Westgate, the second layout, that was HO and HoN42. That's up in Brisbane, not far from Martin's place. The third layout, Bill's, that's over in the western suburbs of Sydney. Colin is closer to the Harbour Bridge in Sydney. That's the big O-scale layout. Very noisy because he likes all the sound systems running. Allan Rocket, the beautiful ON30 layout, is from Melbourne. It's 1,000 kilometres south of here. The N-scale layout is up in Newcastle, which is an hour north of me. Mainville is my narrow gauge section of layout, and the onboard is also my section. So can't get to those at the moment, to a lot of them, because of restrictions, but they're all on my video archive. So I pulled out some good bits from each. And if you see those layouts again, it'll be a totally different piece of video. How's that?
Perfect. They're perfect. There's definitely some great layouts. Like you said, that beautiful ON30 layout. Do you want to just touch base on that and give us a bit of a background on what that is actually modelled down here on the famous prototype here?
Yep, okay. That's Allan Rocket down in Victoria. He's not far from the prototype, the Puffing Billy Railway, which still runs. His main profession, I suppose, through his life was building carriages, the two-wheelers and the four-wheelers, many of which you see models of in the video. Virtually everything there is scratch built, except possibly one of the locos, or two of the locos. All the horses are hand carved. Every single one is different. And there's a lot of other detail parts which we didn't fit in that time. And it's a superb layout to watch. It's running DC. It would be lovely to watch that in DCC with a bit of sound and to hear all the wildlife that's in that area. And for those who watched last time, the first layout that came up was by Bill Black, and he lives about 6 miles from this guy, both right alongside the Puffing Billy main line. That's Victoria's biggest tourist attraction.
Yeah, definitely one of the famous prototypes down here.
I believe that Garrett was scratch built as well, wasn't it, Gerry?
Sorry?
I believe that Garrett was scratch built as well, wasn't it?
I believe so, yes. The NA was the little tank loco, may have been a kit, but yeah, the Garrett was one of the scratch built locos.
Yeah, beautiful.
Someone came up with a kit about 10 years later.
Yeah, there was actually a question there in the chat about that Garrett, and they were just asking what the front tender was used for and how the loco was made up. Do you want to touch base on that a little bit?
Okay, typical of the Garretts, we didn't have the articulators that they have in America. We had Garretts. The front bunker, front tender was water. The back one was coal. And they were spread out so they get the weight over, a lot of weight on lighter rail. small rail. Very common in Australia on all the different gauges. The biggest one of all, the AD60 Garrett, still runs up past my place from time to time when steam trains are running. And that's something awesome to watch. Rhodesia and South Africa also had a lot of Garretts like that. They just spread the weight out over a distance on the track, so it didn't sort of pulverize the track like some big locos do.
Yeah, okay, great. Well, I don't have any other questions out of the chat. If you've got nothing, Martin, I'd like to thank Gerry for another great round of videos and layouts. Yeah.
Oh yes, he's actually got a real carriage in the entranceway into the layout that he built many years ago. And he's done the same with his O-scale stuff. Absolutely beautiful. Yep, okay. In Australia, when they first built railways, New South Wales went to standard gauge. Victoria, way down south, the one that Matt and Jenkins models, had an Irish engineer, and they built broad gauge, 5 foot something and a bit. And then Queensland, because it was so big, it was cheaper to put narrow gauge track down. So they run HoN, 3'6" gauge, HoN42. ON42, sorry. And now you can go from Brisbane to Melbourne on standard gauge, but that's only happened in the last 20 years. And most of Queensland is still 3'6", and they've actually got the fastest passenger train running in Queensland. Brisbane to Cairns, 3'6", 160 k's. So
yes, I had to laugh living up here in Queensland. We built a new light rail system on the Gold Coast, which is 4'8", and they wanted to link it to the so-called heavy rail, which is 3'6", which seemed the opposite way around. It seemed like the light rail should be 3'6", and the other should be 4'8". But anyway, there you go. But yes, Queensland is a different gauge. So when you get up to Brisbane, as you saw with Craig Mackey's layout casino a couple of weeks ago, there's differences in track. So we use, 12mm track to represent the 3'6" in HO?
I think so, unless it's hand built, but that looked as though it was commercial track.
Which is HOE.
No, HOE is HON 2.5.
Oh, well, there you go. See, I've got that wrong. I never get these narrow
You're
gauge.
thinking of HOM, meter gauge.
HOM, that's right, yes, yep. There was another couple of comments that I saw coming through the chat as well. Yes, I saw in the chat there's someone saying they can now hear me. Yeah, I'm sorry. For me to talk, I've got to push about 3 mute buttons, and I forgot one of them the last time when I was asking Gerry the question. So everybody was getting silence, and then Gerry was just giving an answer. So anyway, with your camera, I noticed the last section of video we had in that it was off your own layout, off the HO section, and you had a camera at the front of the train. There's been a few comments on how realistic that looked. If you could elaborate maybe on what you used and how you did it.
Yeah, well, if you go onto the internet and look up SQ11 camera, you'll see the camera. It is.
Oh, he's going to get it out, and we'll have a little demonstration.
It's not down yet. It must be in the train room.
Oh,
It's a 1 inch square.
okay.
It carries a 4 gig micro SD card. It does high definition video, as you saw.
Yep.
And yeah, a little bit of blue tack on the end of a flat car, and around it goes. There was a cut in that video because there was a piece of track out of alignment and it derailed, so I had to chop that bit out. But yeah, it shows up all the faults in your track work and all the faults in things at the back of the the back of buildings, which you didn't bother putting any windows in and didn't bother painting or doing all the detailing.
Okay, yep. And well, another comment that came regarding the track cam was the fact that someone was saying it looked like hand-laid track. So have you got hand-laid track?
All the turnouts are hand laid.
Okay.
The main line is code 70, real micro engineering, and anything off the main line is micro engineering code 55.
Okay.
One or two industries have got a bit of hand laid code 40, but that's not much.
And I take it, did you use a commercial product to make your turnouts, such as the fast track fixtures and filing jigs and the likes?
Well, I had help from Fast Tracks. I downloaded their templates.
Ah, so you used part of this stuff.
Then glued a few sleepers to that and then did the rest. Because I had been hand laying turnouts before that, so. But that made it so much easier.
And we had we got a comment came in that someone else has one of those cams and it says it can also be used as a webcam. So that's really good. There was another comment just before. I'm just going to scroll back up because the comments are flying in and I missed it. From a chap saying the narrow gauge NG16 Garrett's still running the Welsh Highland in the UK. Fantastic experience to ride behind them from Carnarvon to Port Murdoch. So, well, at
the moment, as I said earlier, the G42, our big Garrett on the Puffing Billy, that's being gone in for a major overhaul. But in its place is running one of the South African Garretts, those N16s or whatever they are.
Okay, oh, that's excellent. Now, one of the other comments that was up before. Well, actually, it's a comment from myself. The O scale layout was that 2-rail or 3-rail O scale?
2-rail.
So it's running 32mm track.
Yeah, whatever O scale is, yeah. They've got 7 NCE 10 amp boosters to drive that lot. Most of the locos, or practically all the locos, the sound is on all the time. It doesn't shut down when you're not using it. So it can get a little bit noisy in there. For 46 diesels.
46 diesels?
46 diesels on the layout.
Yeah.
And he's got 8 steam locos. You only saw 3 running in that piece of video. The one which you'll see next time I do that layout, I'll show that layout, will have the cab forward on it, and that is absolutely beautiful to look at.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
What's this guy got? Got it in a warehouse, an industrial warehouse he's layout, does he?
No, it's 2 rooms, the front room and the back room down the one side of the house. The wall's been knocked down. And where the control panel is, which you saw occasionally in there, if you had your back to that and looked out the window and it's nighttime, you can see the harbour bridge. And then he turns the layout on and the lights on the harbour bridge dim.
I was going to say, with enough that number of boosters there, I mean, you've got enough power to almost weld with. Never mind run model trains.
Well, in the olden days, the old scale stuff used to pull a lot of current when it was running. And I remember checking one train a year or so ago, 2 diesels on the front and 1 in the middle, and it was pulling 2.5 amps. pulling a 30-car train up a 2% grade. And every car is brass. Every loco is brass.
So yes, it would be a bit of a drain on the. Have you done any DCC decoder installs for him?
Everyone.
Everyone. So you know them all intimately. So what brand are the models? Are they brass or?
They're all brass. What brands of brass, I don't know, because I never see the original box when they come here. The diesels, most of the diesels, 40 of the diesels, or 42 diesels have Tsunami. 2 have QSI and 2 have WOW. The 2 QSI will be out of there within the next few weeks and be replaced by WOWs. And there's another 4 to have WOWs fitted.
Okay, so of the sound decoders, you predominantly put WOWs for steam locos?
Yes.
And how about diesels? What's usually the preferred?
Diesels, most of those are Tsunamis.
Tsunamis, okay. Ah, that's lovely. So it's always good to see the video collection that you've got. I know you've been around to just about all the major layouts in the country, so you've got video just about of everybody's layout. Well, the ones that are built anyway.
Well, that's the bonus of being an AP manager for the region. I can go and see all these layouts and take video when I'm judging them. So, that's the side benefit of being the AP manager.
I noticed when in Arthur Hayes's layout, the Queensland layout with the narrow gauge and the broad gauge, a lot of his buildings he actually achieved prototype. They're all actually based on real buildings in real time, aren't they? That's
right. Did you see the roadkill in that video?
Yes, yeah, on the side of the road, yep.
Yeah, one dead kangaroo.
Yeah, well, that's about the only way you see kangaroos over here, unless you get up really, really early in the morning and go out into the bush, is you usually see them lying on the side of the road. But anyway, so Brad, have you got any more questions?
No, not really. The only probably other question is, if anyone out there is wanting to watch more of these great Australian layouts, and I know there's going to be more coming up in future conventions and whatnot from you, Gerry. But if someone wanted to jump out there tomorrow and have a look at them, do you have a YouTube channel or something like that?
Yes, just Gerry MMR, GERRY MMR. Just put that in the search bar in YouTube. And the last one I put up, and this one you've seen tonight will be up tomorrow. And they'll be in high definition. So yeah, plus plenty of other videos I've done over the years.
Okay.
I think that's about it, Martin. So
yep.
I think if we might roll over to a couple other screens, but now's probably the chance for all us Aussie guys to get up, stretch our legs, grab a coffee to get through the night, and stick around, and we'll be back shortly with our next clinic.
We'll be back with some more shortly. Yeah. Thank you very much for your assistance, Gerry, and as always, the videos were excellent. It'll certainly get the chins wagging around the place. That down here we actually do have some really good model railroaders. So,
well, next month, in 2 weeks' time, you'll have a very nice English layout from Adelaide. That'll be one of the layouts that'll be on there. Absolutely superb with detail.
Beautiful. Thanks very much, Gerry. And
okay.
Take it easy. And everybody else, go get a coffee, stretch your legs, go spend a penny, as they say down under. And we'll be back in a little while with our next presenter.
See you.